Hello and welcome to Tax Savers University. I am your host, Tyler McBroom, and we are back to kick off another week, and it is Marketing Monday. So if it's your first time tuning into a Marketing Monday, basically we bring on our brand director, Andy Mendez, to kind of have a discussion on what we're doing this week, what we've been up to, and what's working, what's not. Hopefully bring you some value as you try to build your own businesses out there, and then just continue to dive into more content. So without further ado, welcome Andy. How's it going?
It's good. It's Monday. It's actually Monday this time.
It is actually Monday. So we've talked before about time blocking and kind of scheduling out content in advance. I was gone the last couple days of last week celebrating a anniversary with my wife, so we did not get our Friday afternoon content time in, so we're sneaking it in this Monday morning.
Yeah.
So
I know
no
you
pressure.
didn't post too much on your Instagram over the weekend. Did it feel good to kind of unplug for a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. Just kind of couple Instagram snaps here. I guess stories, not snaps.
Yeah.
But it felt kind of nice just to say goodbye world for a little bit.
Yeah.
So just hanging on the coast was good.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, even from my end, I get overwhelmed with your DMs right now, so
Yeah.
I can't imagine from your end.
Yeah. Well, let's dive right into that, kind of talking about DMs on kind of what we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Kind of relates to DMs, likes, comments, engagement, all that stuff.
Yeah, so the big thing, I know we'll kind of share different things that we see online through like Instagram messages, and one of them that came up over the weekend was and we've talked about this before, that followers and likes don't necessarily convert over to new business, and so putting too much emphasis on those two might take away value from the content that we're putting out if it's like only focused to growing those two. And that's I feel like that's just easy for everybody to do. Once you get on social platforms, you want to see those numbers jump.
Right.
But like how we've mentioned before, the DMs has been huge, and it makes sense because it's just a deeper conversation, and it's more one-on-one.
Yeah.
So
especially in an industry like ours, is that it's private conversations, it's confidential information, and so people aren't going to share their dirty tax secret on a comment.
Yeah.
Or not even a dirty tax secret, but it's just a question. It's
they don't
just
want to
too.
discuss their finances.
They don't want to discuss their finances
Yeah.
in comments, and so DMs translate into business for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's definitely something. I know I shared a post with you, but just something that I think a lot of people in the business world right now can really focus on is just creating better content. And this is kind of like the focus to this week as far as like what we're putting out. I want to put a big emphasis on kind of just really putting myself as somebody that doesn't know taxes as well as you do in the shoes of the person consuming the content, and just understanding, okay, if I was a business owner, what piece of content would really help me out to like see, or like how would the caption be broken down? Maybe I know I would try kind of lead, and we discussed this before as well, like try leading like, oh, click, like turn your sound on so you can hear this video, just to get that view. But now thinking, okay, if I was maybe not driving. Parked.
Don't consume our content while driving, unless it's this podcast.
Per se. But just move, I don't know, walking around, and I don't want to turn the audio on. What can I see in the caption that gives me the same message, or at least gets me to hit the save to collections to view it later?
Right.
I'll do that a lot.
And it's reaching people how they like to consume.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge. It's limited resources, but at least maximizing each platform.
Yeah.
So they might like to consume it through video, they might want to read it. So if we can offer both to them, then that'll be
the value is just like all to them, which I think is huge for new business and just impact in general, and playing off those numbers. And again, kind of hearing people's hesitation to go into social, especially like in a primarily like financial industry, or even like education, which is a little more like traditional, I guess. The hesitation is always like, okay, what's the ROI, right? So then the focus starts becoming the followers because they're new to the space.
It's a measurable.
And it's like we've discussed over and over again, just waiting those few months. But since we have been putting our followers first.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like an intangible to the direct messages or they've been consuming your content, maybe not even liking your photos necessarily.
Yeah.
And then like a month later they reach out and they're like, hey, I've been following you for
forever.
a while.
It's awesome stuff.
This is like on your end, first time seeing their name as well.
Right.
So it's
Uh-huh.
like, how do you measure that? And I think you can't necessarily measure it, but you can just focus on like putting out better content
good
for them.
content.
And
yeah.
it's going to impact them.
Yeah,
in
for
their
sure.
business.
Delivering quality.
Yeah.
So, and something that you and I were kind of DMing about last night that was interesting is, you know, with Instagram, if you started trying to build any sort of following at all, you'll notice that it kind of ticks up and down, goes up and down, and a result of that is a lot of followers out there are just random bot accounts. Yeah. And if you have too many bots on there, then it affects your engagement for your actual followers just because of the way that the Instagram algorithm works. And so we're going through to try to focus on scrubbing some of those bots so that it's, you know, so that we can reach more of our actual following.
Yeah.
And it was interesting psychologically scrubbing, you know, a few hundred of those off, and you see the follower count going down. Yeah. Even though you know they're robots.
Yeah.
It's this weird mind game. And so trying to really step back and focus on what matters, which is quality content and reaching the people that are actually going to benefit and see value from your followers versus that vanity metric of a follower count is super important to focus on.
Yeah, and piggybacking off of the psychological part, it's almost like you're building something, like say you're building a table, and it's like you're taking off the legs.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I just worked
like,
all
what
day.
What are you doing? Yeah.
But it's like taking a step back to take a bigger step forward down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. What else we got going on?
I want to, as far as the podcast goes and for this week,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if there's any other ways to get better audio out there, or maybe messing with longer form audio or shorter form. I just wanted to kind of experiment with the space a little bit more.
Okay.
See how we can get those like numbers up, or maybe provide people with more value. Go ahead.
Or
I'm just saying our numbers were lower last week, and it's always kind of, I'm not really sure what caused them to go down versus up.
Mm-hmm.
Some weeks just crash and we get like close to 3,000 listens in a week, and then other weeks like this last week, I think we got like 997, 996.
Yeah.
And it could be a mix of different things. Maybe people just weren't consuming that much, but just kind of like looking at it and taking it with a grain of salt and seeing, okay. And also, I mean, we have been doing putting out content consistently and kind of doing the same thing. So now maybe it's like looking at other podcasts and seeing maybe how they work certain intros or outros or what's their cadence, and then just seeing how we could tailor that to like the way we do things, because like we've mentioned on here, people like the short form content as opposed to long form.
But maybe stacking it with like multiple tips in one episode.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Like still keeping our content unique to what makes us,
Mm-hmm.
but seeing if maybe there's other things that work for others that we can implement into our cadence.
Cool. Like a mashup of meal tax tips or something like that as one episode, or like a travel focus.
Spotify playlist, but I still haven't been able to figure that out. Why it's not letting me create a playlist with your podcast episodes. So that's still like a problem I need to like resolve. But like you said, like having maybe a 10-minute segment that's all the meals, and it's like 4 different tax tips within that one podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well,
it's just another week.
It's just another week, and some are going to be longer and meatier. Some are going to be quick and clean. So we'll keep it tight. No need to drag it out longer just to make a longer podcast. So thank you again for tuning in. Hopefully, if you're enjoying these Marketing Mondays, go let us know. Let me know. Find me over on Instagram. Shoot me a DM or Twitter at Tyler McBroom CPA on Twitter there, and at Tyler McBroom on Instagram. So. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, unless Andy decides to change up the scheduling cadence, but still daily. So we'll see you tomorrow on the podcast, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Come up's always on my mind, it's dictating my decisions. Grew up, knew I'd have to grind for the life that I envisioned. And I see the ads all the time, salivating at the Benzes.